So let's ask one of those big questions. It's perhaps the most important thing I've learned from you, which is the nature of consciousness. And very specifically, the possibility that we're all connected. Not in some paranormal way that people can poo-poo away, but actually as hard-nosed, I shouldn't say rationalists, but people who are comfortable in the rational world. There's something that must be linking us. That is.
Otherwise we fight.
Otherwise we'd fight. But it also does it instinctively, or allows at least our instincts to act on it. And it's probably one of the reasons that so many of the people we have believed over the centuries, that all humans have looked to for at least the 12,000 years of civilized humanity, might explain where they got these ideas from, that they could actually have these lucid dreams and visions of what true reality is beneath the surface. Could you walk us through that? Because it's profound.
Well,
it requires focus, but it will change lives.
Well, we don't really understand how thought is generated. The experience is that words or images just sort of manifest themselves in the theater of your imagination, and you think, I thought that up. But if you think about it, you think, well, no, those words just appeared in my head sometimes, or sometimes it seems like I'm more the creator of them. Like when you're wrestling to write, there's obviously intent there on your part. Where do those words come from? Well, the void, it's like, well, that's one explanation, but it's a biological phenomenon, thought. And we're in bodies, and those bodies have evolved from hundreds of millions of years, scaffolding one system on top of the other. The body manifests itself in these deep motivational systems that everyone shares, that allow us to move forward and to feel joy and to feel terror and to be angry and to experience the basic motivations of hunger and lust and thirst. That's all complex biological scaffolding, and then those manifest themselves in the tendency to represent patterns of action, and that's fantasy, and it's right hemisphere mediated to a large degree, and that produces dreams and fantasies that turn into dramas, that turn into rituals and dramas, and then narratives, and then out of those narratives we abstract out explicit thought, and that's the left hemisphere embedded in all of that.
So left hemisphere, right hemisphere surrounding it, not separate.
Surrounding it, yeah. And so the left dominates when things are working. But when they're not working, well, the explicit left doesn't know what to do. Well, then fantasy emerges to start to hypothesize about what this thing that is strange might be, and that's the realm of dream and all of that. And so that's outside on the fringes of reality where the monsters are. And that's all embedded into the instincts and the body. That's all necessary for thought.
So we have the rational world that we can look around, see, touch, feel, hear.
Surrounded by a dream.
Surrounded by a dream that takes us to the unknown.
Yeah, that's right. It fades out into the unknown. Just like your vision, the center of your vision is very sharp and precise, and then it's less high resolution as you move out, and then it fades into blackness itself. And not even blackness, it's the absence of blackness, right? What's behind it? It's not black, it's just absolutely not there in your visual perception. And thought is like that.
So again,
perception is like that.
If the left brain is, for example, the hunter, right? It grasps, it holds. The right brain is the searcher,
in times of uncertainty, particularly. Yes, it's the thing that mediates between the absolutely unknown and the absolutely known. There's a domain of partially known, and that's the domain of dream.
Why are some people able to see that partial known?
They think more in dreams and images. That's part of it. That's artists. They're out there on the fringe. That's their niche. The open people, high and openness, the personality trait. They're on the fringe. They're on the edges. That's why they're strange and uncanny in some sense. And, lots of people, especially those with a more conservative bent, temperamentally speaking, are suspicious of them because they're agents of unpredictable transformation and therefore extremely dangerous, but necessary, right? And most artists fail because most experiments fail. But some artists hyper succeed, so it's a strange niche. It's like you probably will fail, but if you succeed, you can succeed beyond your wildest dreams.
So if you look back in human history, where there are always some people, maybe a lot of people, who are able to go beyond...
Always. Those are the shaman for who knows how many tens of thousands of years. The mystics. Yeah.
And how do you get a world that doesn't acknowledge that that's even possible? It's just,
No, it's
again,
the hyperdominance of the rational. Right? Only what we understand explicitly and propositionally is allowed to be true. It's like, fine, except, your theory is incomplete, it's going to fail, so then what do you do? Well, we kill people to point that out. It's like, well, okay. But, it's not just the people that are pointing that out. It's that your stupid theory isn't right, and it can't be. It can never be complete. See, that's the thing about human beings is we have incomplete theories, but we have to live. And so we have incomplete theories that we sort of understand, and we have complete theories that we don't understand. And those are fantasies and dreams. And even then, in some sense, they're still incomplete.
I'd be okay if people acknowledge that, but I find, as a scientist, as a doctor, that we have a thought process that's pretty complete. Not completely, but enough there that we believe that's everything. Then we try to take faith, this concept you just described, for example, and put it into that same experimental box. Mm-hmm. And then we ask questions of it that only would apply to a more traditional Western-minded scientific experiment, and it fails. Mm-hmm. Right? You ask rational questions of what you're just describing, which is a theory of how we connect to the unknown around us.
Part of that is you go to watch Pinocchio at a theater, and someone says, that's not real. It's like, wrong time for that statement. Well, why? Well, I don't know. You're bugging me while I'm watching the movie. You're interfering with the movie. I'm doing something here. What are you doing? I'm enjoying myself. Why? Well, I don't know. Right. You don't know, neither did the people who made the movie. But that doesn't mean you're not doing something. You're dreaming. If you don't dream, you die. I mean, literally that happens, right? You deprive people of dreams, they die. But it's also true psychologically, it's true communally, it's true politically. If we don't dream, we die. Artists are the dreamers. And we're captivated by them. Musicians are dreamers. They walk us through a dream with their melodies. We love it, we need it. It's not optional, it's vital. It's vital. It's absolutely crucial. And it is this issue of border. It's beyond the domain of rational thought is the domain of the fantasy and the dream. And we're all ensconced in a dream to some degree. I mean, the mysteries of Christianity, so much of that is dream. And sort of like we woke up during the Enlightenment and went, oh, rationally, we don't understand this at all. Look what we're doing. What the hell are we doing? We're eating this wheat wafer, and that's God, and it's the Word, and somehow that's the resurrection, and and look at this guy up on the dome that's the sky, and what's up with this cathedral, and why do we have Christmas trees? And it's like, what the hell are we doing? Well, we're living out a dream. And we woke up a bit and thought, hey, we're dreaming. Well, this doesn't seem sort of mystical and doesn't make sense. Well, then the rational mind starts to criticize it out of existence. And, well, you're not going to criticize if you criticize the dream out of existence, all you end up with is a nightmare. So that's what you'll replace the dream with, is the nightmare. So look out.
So when people say, I believe in the science.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that comment, that mantra?
No. Science isn't something to believe in. That's not science. Science in its pure form, in some sense, is supposed to be value-free. So it can't tell us about what to do. It's not even supposed to. And when it tries to, it becomes politics, or worse, religion. And then when people manipulate the science because it's telling us what to do, then people distrust the science. And then, great, that's not good. People trusted scientists, mostly, Yes. And that's because most scientists were pretty trustworthy. They were really committed to the truth in their narrow domain and stayed out of the political to the degree that was possible. But now the universities, they all insist everything is political. Yeah. It's like, oh, so you're going to politicize God, are you? And maybe that's your goal. You just keep mucking about and see what happens with that idea. So that is what we're going to find out, because that is what we're doing. It's not wise. It's not wise. There's the higher and the lower. And when the lower ascends into the higher, well, all hell breaks loose and the nightmare reigns. Oh, bad idea. Humility.